Hey guys, I'm going to show you my witch character. This is a kind of a experiment in role-playing that I've really been enjoying over the past couple of weeks, and I'd like to tell you all about it. So here I am. I'm a witch. This is the top room in Shank's Shovel. It's the room that I'm using as my home right now. Let's take a look at my character sheet. So on paper, I'm a Nightblade. The idea behind this character is that she's a witch, but she doesn't want anyone to know that, because witches aren't very well respected. She doesn't want to get herself into any trouble, because she's a really terrible, terrible person. Alright, so she tells everyone she's a Nightblade. She's got the skill set of a Nightblade, pretty much speechcraft and illusion and sneak and things like that, right? And, but in reality, she's a witch, as you'll see with the spells I've got here in a moment. For the race, I've got High Elf, which is nice for the extra magic. Oh, it's not normally that high. Normally it's about 300 or so. That's because I got some active enchantments going on here with the potion I drank, I think. So she gets some extra magic for that, but of course you get magic weaknesses as a high elf, and her sign is the lover, because I thought that would be cool with the kind of seductress aspect of being a witch. So that gives you Mooncalf, which is 25 points of agility. Agility is really nice for fighting. It makes it harder to hit you, and it makes it easier to hit other people. And Lover's Kiss is a power you get to use once a day, which is just a really long paralyze, although it damages your own fatigue quite a bit. So it makes you tired, but it gives you a bunch of free pot shots on somebody. Now this Lover's Kiss is not quite as great as it might sound. I thought it was going to be like my Ace in the Hole trump card that I'd be able to use on really hard bosses and things like that, but lots of people have resistance to paralyze. It's very easily resisted, it seems, at higher levels. Like, I'm level 21 now, and I'm not having a lot of opportunity to use Lover's Kiss anymore. Usually it just says target resisted magic and you're shit out of luck because now you don't have any fatigue anymore. So it's okay, I guess. I might not recommend Sign of the Lover anymore. Factions, Mages Guild, House Sylvani, that's pretty much the main ones. Temple is really great. I like being part of the temple. And as for the gear that I have, I mean, I got this dope robe. Looks real good. It's just one of these Frost Eater robes, though. And other than that, some stuff I made myself. I've got this silk sash that gives you restore fatigue 8 points. If you put that on a exquisite belt, it means that your green bar fatigue will never go down even when you're jumping around like crazy. It's very hard to get it down, and even if you do manage to get it down a little bit, it comes back so quick that it's just really convenient. You notice a quantum leap in how powerful your character is after you make this belt. As a spellcaster, especially as a witch, I've got a lot of really difficult spells that are hard to cast, and having full fatigue all the time is great for that. It might sound a little bit game breaking, but it's not, because whenever I'm about to get into a fight, I'll pop one of my potions for restore fatigue. I don't have any of my homebrew potions for that right now, but usually they're like 60 points of fatigue for 5 minutes or something stupid like that. So I'm always at full fatigue when I'm fighting, but most of this game isn't fighting. Most of this game is walking between towns and trying to find places out in the wilderness. So I'm really big on trying to make that less tedious, and a lot of my enchantments have to do with traveling and making getting around easier and less of a pain in the ass, because sometimes it really is a pain in the ass. For example, this lily pad skirt I made is a really good way to show that, I guess. Water walking. If you're jumping around, I use Tiner's Hop Toad a lot to get around. If you fall in the water, it really breaks your momentum, and then you've got a bunch of slaughterfish attacking you, and you can really get stuck. So having water walking, constant effect is nice, and the extra 2 points at jump doesn't do too much, but it's a nice little bonus. I made this ring, this boring ring. It makes you run faster. It's boring, but it's nice to help you get around quicker. Because again, a lot of this game is just run over here into the middle of the wilderness, find this guy, give him this boring item, and come back here for your reward type of quests are not uncommon. This blade I made is absorb health and sound. It's a little bit overpowered for this character. The absorb health is, I try not to put too big of a number in there. That's why I put sound on there, just kind of for flavor. But even 8 to 10 points, if you just spam short blade attacks, you can just really own a fight. So I'm gonna try to remake this with a different ebony short blade, with a little bit weaker of an enchantment, because I think it's a bit too much, considering this is like a non-combat character. But I do really like the model for the ebony short blade, so that's why I chose it. I also have Valerei's razor, which is a lot more suitable, I think, for this character. Although the enchantments aren't, they're alright, I guess. I prefer something like this, short blade. Short ebony blade. Short ebony short sword. Ebony short sword, yeah. Okay, this is my place. It's not too bad. Shank's shovel has a really nice room upstairs. It belongs to the proprietor, Shank. He's like this black dude that lives downstairs. He's got some alcohol and some food and stuff like that. But I use this room a lot because Caldera is like a nice location, and it's a nice room. Lots of tables, lots of places to put things. So with a lot of different playthroughs, I use this room. Because I'm a witch and I've got secret shit going on, I have to lock the door when I leave. It's another part of the role-playing aspect that I have. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this already or not, but all of these spells that I have, anything that's labeled Hex, Spite, Witch's Circle, Curse, or Acrimony, those are all spells that I cannot use when someone else can see me. So that's why the bottom level of this place is empty, because somebody saw me, so I had to kill everybody. Now, my favorite spell in the game probably is Tinier's Hop Toad. Again, because, you know, traveling is most of what you do in the game. And when you can jump like this, oh my god, it makes your gameplay experience a lot less tedious. So I use that spell a lot. But it is quite an expensive spell, so let's cast it a few times and see what happens. Oh no, I'm out of mana, what am I gonna do? Well, that's what Witch's Circle is for. Now, I've got this spell called Witch's Circle Blank Slate. It's drain intelligence 100 points oneself for 1 second. And let me show you what it does when you cast it. I've got a hotkey. It restores your magic to full. Now, is that overpowered? Yes, it is. But it's built into the role-playing thing. Because she's a witch, now, as a role player, let me just point out that I should not have done that in front of these people. But just for the purposes of this video, I'm going to let it slide. Yeah, Witch's Circle, you cannot use that in front of people. So anyway, it's very powerful, but as a witch, she's kind of sold her soul to the Daedra, right? So she's got some extra powers. I'm making air quotes on my fingers, extra powers. And in exchange for that, she's not allowed to use it where people can see her. She's not allowed to use a lot of her spells where people can see her. And all of her spells, at least whenever possible, they have to have extra effects on them. So for example, this venom spell I have, it's like a long potion, it's like a long poison. It's quite expensive to cast. It's got 2 effects on it. It would be a lot better if I just made 2 different spells that had double the poison and double the damage agility. It would be more efficient. But because I'm a witch, it kind of has to be this way. Whenever possible, I've just recently made these spite spells that do like damage, but whenever possible I try to avoid using direct damage spells. And if I am going to use a direct damage spell, which I just started using because just daggering something to death for a minute is a little bit boring, so I just decided to throw in some damage over time spells. But if I do make a damage spell, it's got to be over like a 20-second or a 30-second period, right? So these are our new additions, and I'm liking them pretty much. But most of my spells are like these. Let's go to curses first, because they're the most interesting, I think. So here's a curse that I have. It's called Atrophy. It damages strength, and it damages willpower for 20 seconds. It's not too expensive to cast, only 32 points. And this strength and willpower debuff lasts semi-permanently. It doesn't go away unless you go to an altar and get it cured. Although I fought Umbra, a very powerful character near Saran, and I used Atrophy on him until he couldn't move because his strength was so low that he couldn't carry his armor anymore. And I went back after a couple weeks and he was running around again. So I guess they're not permanent. Sometimes stats and things like that in Morrowind kind of roll over and reset. Sometimes you'll notice that like a vendor will reset their inventory, or if you sell all your stuff to Creeper, sometimes he'll reset his inventory. I think it's probably the same thing that happened to Umbra. So this is a really great opener curse. Damage strength, damage willpower. Damaging willpower makes them harder to resist my spells in the future, and damage strength makes my survivability go up. So usually after casting Blind, I'll cast Atrophy. Broken Mirror just really wrecks their luck by about 50 points. Lock Joint, this is for agility and speed. Agility makes it harder for them to hit me, which is always nice. And speed is kind of funny sometimes. If you use it on like a Steam Centurion or something, they're so slow already that it's just hilarious to watch them moving in slow motion with their speed drained. So these are my curses. They're permanent, and they make fights a lot easier, because I'm not a very good fighter as a witch. These are hexes. They're not permanent. They're very transient, temporary things. And usually the one I use the most is Blind. Blind makes it harder for an enemy to hit you by 30%. Any attack that would normally have hit you after it passes all the dice rolls, it's a new dice roll, and it's a 30% chance that it's going to miss again. So it helps with your survivability. Slumber, I've got a lesser slumber and a greater slumber here, and it damages fatigue, which is great for this witch, because fatigue is all about being able to successfully do things. And if you can damage somebody's fatigue, it makes it harder for them to hit you, it makes it harder for them to block you, it makes it harder for them to do all kinds of things. Here's like a Demoralize Fear type spell. I haven't really used it yet though. And this Mind Spike thing was a good idea on paper, but it doesn't really work. I'm going to rework this into something a little bit more interesting a little bit later. These spite spells I just recently made, like I said. Poison, long-term poison. I've got a long-term area of effect frost spell that does blind, so it's like, you know, it's winter, it's snowing, it's hard to see things, you know. So a couple of damage over time spells, although mainly the idea is to debuff somebody and then fight them. Let's go to the Vivek Fighters Guild and pick a fight.
I'd be happy to talk. My pleasure.
Ew. So here we go.
I must.
I'll point out that I really like, you know, in my first few playthroughs I'd always go medium armor, heavy armor, but I really like unarmored. It's great because most of the game, like I said, isn't fighting. Most of the game is running across town, running across the wilderness, things like that, and having your inventory so light like this really makes you fast, which makes the game more enjoyable, I think. So unarmored, I really recommend you give it a try at least once. And that's not to say that my character has no armor. I've got the Boots of the Apostle, for example, to levitate. But the armor that I have isn't for its armor bonus, it's for the enchantment that it has, or whatever. Okay, so here I am at the Vivek Fighters Guild. I think the Grandmaster is here. I haven't been here in a long time. That's not him. He's probably standing behind a desk or something back here. That's not him. Is that him? That's not him. There he is. That must be you.
Seen any elves?
Who are you? Hey? Background. No background? Well, in any case, let's see if we can beat this guy. You can see that my health is not full, but I'm going to try to beat this guy anyway. So let's do this like a witch would. First of all, we're going to lock the door. Not that we have to, so make him attack me, but just for roleplay purposes. Save the game real quick. And instead of coercing him to attack me, I'm going to use Frenzy and Touch. So now he's pissed off, and I guess the first thing that I should do is make sure that I'm not going to get owned right away. Oh, no! Okay, so I survived to cast Blind on him. Let's see if I survive to cast anything else. Sanctuary on myself. Oh my god. So he's successfully kicked my ass so far. Let's see if I can do something to make myself a little more alive. So I got this, but it doesn't really have much of a chance of succeeding. I'm sure I've got a healing potion. I don't have a healing potion. Shit, I wish I didn't lock that door. Well, let's see if I can pray that this will work. Oh no! So Witch's Circle to bring my stuff back, and then I'm gonna just really hope that I can get this spell to fucking work. Okay, well, shit, maybe I should just try to, I've got like a regular absorb health. So I can use this.
Give in. You're dead already.
Yes.
You should have picked an easier opponent.
Okay. Now I'm gonna curse this guy some more. I think a good place to start would be to have him. Shit, I need to go back. Get my stamina back. My magic back. Let's see if I can get this guy tired. And then I'm going to the lion's gonna wear off in a moment here. Shoot. I haven't cursed him yet. Let's screw over his luck big time here. And then... Man, I'm so dead here. Take some agility away from him. And then I'm going to try to absorb health. Should I have a blade of absorb health? Let's see if I can just stab him a little bit. Oh, fuck! Okay, well, sometimes it doesn't go the way you want. Let's try again.
No worries. I won't hurt you. Ask your questions.
Okay. So he's going to attack me in a moment. I'm going to try this kiss. I don't think it's going to work. It's very often it doesn't work. Yeah, see, resisted magic. Shit. And all I did was drain my own fatigue a bunch. So now you can see that my absorb health, which was like 80% chance to cast, is now 50% chance to cast. That sucks. I've got these. These will restore about 200 points of fatigue. Let me try to screw this guy's strength off the bat. Oh no!
You will die where you stand.
that should be enough to make myself a lot more... take his luck away from it. And now... I've only got 30 magic. Put a slumber on it, but I still have enough to get my stuff back. Get out of clan fear right now. And then, still haven't blinded them. So that would be a good idea. Getting Sanctuary on would be a good idea. And now focusing on getting some of my health back from him would be a good idea. Ah, shit. Get that clan fear. Hey, you start fighting him. Too small in here to do any of this stuff. Alright, now I'm in good shape. I don't think I've actually taken any of his agility yet, although I feel like I'm winning this fight. And now maybe I can focus on doing a little bit of damage. Arthuric Venom, that's a good spell. And so is Life Siphon. It worked! I'm running low on magic again. So you can see that I'm using this magic glitch, but the way that I fight, I mean, if I was level 21 as just like a boring warrior, I could have just like smacked this guy like 6 times in one, right? This is a lot more interesting to me. I like the way that this fight works. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm gonna try this winter spell, and I'm probably gonna aggro the entire guild by doing it. What do you think about that, huh? Does it work through doors? Maybe it doesn't work through doors. I don't see any bounty added. So at this point, I feel pretty confident in just whipping out a blade and fighting him. Let's get my wait, I'm a mage, I'm not a geeky dude. So this guy's gonna fight me now too. I think it was pretty easy. Oh! You okay? Huh, not that many people actually noticed that. Okay, well, in any case, that's my, that's the idea of this witch. I'm really enjoying the playthrough. Oh, who are you? Wanna fight me too? Want a piece of this? So maybe I should dial back this, this winter spell a little bit. I mean, that is like 100 points of damage. Yeah.
How do you do?
Okay, well, that's my witch, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I'm not really forgetting anything. And let me know if you have any suggestions or comments or anything like that. I'd love to hear what you think about it. And if you give this a try, please send me a personal message and say what you think about it. I think I mentioned before that because of the free magic spell exploit that I have, like all of my spells have multiple effects, I'm really liking the flavor that dynamic adds to the playthrough. Like for example, this acid spray has like a little bit of flavor on it. That 2 points of poison for 10 damage isn't that useful, but it's flavor that makes the role-playing aspect more interesting. So again, tell me what you think about this, you guys. I'm gonna load back because I don't want to have massacred the Fighters Guild for no reason. And I guess I'll let you know about my next character if I remember to make a video. Thanks!